The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour. For me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host for another day of market action, which has been a little up, been a little down, been a little up again. And I think you can probably call this the standard operating procedure of a week where everybody is left for vacation early. In fact, normally we start seeing volume tip off about Wednesday going into a big 3-day weekend like this, at least historically. We started seeing it leave a week ago now. It started tapering off last Tuesday, even into expiration week where normally you have stuff. We started seeing that there was just no volume starting at about this hour, maybe even 1 o'clock, maybe even an hour earlier. Volume in the afternoons just has gone to nil. As we start the show today, a little better volume than yesterday. I suspect that is the dip that we saw down to 125 or 21.25 on the S&P cash today, printing off at the 2131.5 with 2 billion shares as we start the show. This is probably the last day of volume, and probably a great deal of this is related to options rollover from last week. And a little push down, a little push up. My guess is we're going to be flat. I am expecting that the market probably closes out somewhere between 2140, 2145 on Friday's close. I'm not expecting much higher up here. I think we're going to, kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and they're going to be short steps. Probably not a lot of action in this market, but we will persevere. I've made more money by spending time really closely watching the markets this week and deciding what to do on Friday and the Tuesday after than probably any time during the years that I've traded. This has been one where I've been able to either go long or go short after a 3-day weekend starting the summer and really have some decent moves out there that tend to be extremely trendy. That don't tend to be as choppy as what we've had now. And the character of the markets tends to very much change after a 3-day weekend. If it has been choppy, it tends to get trendy. So if you are bullish or bearish, probably don't expect huge single-day moves, but a trend to start when we come back on Tuesday next week. And look for that trend to probably continue all the way into probably late June and maybe the next 3-day weekend. Do we have a 3-day weekend coming up for July? I haven't looked that forward. I probably should have. July 4th on a Saturday. So do we get an extra day? I'm sure we do because I think it's required. So does that mean we're off on that Friday or that Monday? I'll look that up during today's break. I guess I need to start thinking about that. But normally we get a move back into the 4th of July that takes us all the way into the next 3-day weekend from, of course, Memorial Day. And we'll continue looking at it. What else do we have going on out here? Trying to remember. What else do we have out here? Well, you know what we got? We always have a little bit of history repeating.
It's all just a little bit of history repeating.
We do, and of course we like history here in the Power Trading Hour, because if you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it. On this day in 1897, Oscar Wilde was released from jail after 2 years of hard labor. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, this season has a major plot line about the queen. I guess she's a queen now. She married the 12-year-old king, and it goes right along with Oscar Wilde, and nothing really new under the sun, but kind of weird to see that certainly we see the exact same thing. Basically, the Oscar Wilde story coming out in Game of Thrones right now with somebody in jail, and the Queen Mother is causing trouble, just like they did for Oscar Wilde out there. He got thrown into jail after 2 years of hard labor. Came out. He died 3 years later. Didn't seem to work out pretty well. Got a lot of witty things that he had said. In 1935, Lawrence of Arabia dies. And, of course, probably would have been a footnote other than the fact that one of the most gorgeous movies of all time was made. It's a David Lean film. If you don't know David Lean, then you don't know movies. But I continue to watch it. Incredibly long movie. One of these movies that even when they'd given up on not matinees, when they'd given up on intermissions, had to have an intermission. Nobody had a bladder that big. And but it is one of the best movies of all times. But he died in his automobile swerving to avoid a 10-year-old in the middle of the road. In 1965, Pete Townsend writes My Generation, and it's on his 20th birthday. And wow, 50 years ago. Churchill and FDR on this day in 1943 plot the D-Day invasion. And, well, it's just weeks away. In 1967, the Soviets ratified a treaty banning nuclear weapons from outer space after we'd blown up a couple of them. One taking out the power grid where I was living at the time. That was 1962. Took out all the street lights. And, of course, we found out that the EMP radiation of exploding a nuclear weapon outside the atmosphere was significantly higher than exploding one on the ground, although that will do it too. But 9 times out of 10, it's not going to matter whether it was, if it's in the blast radius, it's going to be blown apart anyway. And the EMP radiation doesn't go that far. But both the Soviets and we did it a little too close to New Zealand one time and to Hawaii one time. And now everybody's all wigged out about the possibility of losing everything. I actually have a backup of all my stuff on my hard drive, on a little thumb drive. As long as whatever you have is not hooked up to probably a wire that is 30 inches, I'm going to say even 25 inches or longer, it's probably going to be okay. If you're hooked up to anything that's got a long wire hooked to it, i.e. it's plugged into the wall, you could be in trouble. You probably lose all your desktop computers that are plugged in. If you have a laptop and it's not within the blast radius, it's probably going to continue to work. Your smartphones are going to continue to work. The network that it's hooked to, probably not going to work. All those big towers that are hooked in have some level of EMP resistance, but probably not enough for something exploded over the United States. But you could go into a great deal of stuff. I actually have backups that are in ammo crates, boxes, if you know what those are, made out of steel that lock and make sure water can't get in. But those are probably the perfect thing to keep everything in. And, of course, if you've got great pictures that you could lose of all your kids and family, now with everybody putting them on digital items, you want to put those on DVDs and make sure that they're somewhere safe. But just a little day in history. Other things going on here, history coming back to get us again. Dick Fuld, I always think of, every time I see his name for some reason, I think of Elmer Fudd, but it's Dick Fuld, will make his first public comments since the financial crisis in New York next week. If you ask the average Wall Streeter, the fact that he's out, not in jail, is almost beyond belief. He was nicknamed before the blow up at Lehman Brothers, the gorilla on Wall Street, for his competitiveness and ruthfulness. Condé Nast rated Fold the number one of the worst American CEOs of all time, stating he was belligerent and unrepentant. Fold was also named Time Magazine's list of 25 people to blame for the financial crisis. In 2006, he was also voted the number one person in investing in real estate and in basically loans and all that stuff. So he went from hero to zero in about 2 years. The question is that since we're seeing him come back out, does this actually show and possibly a good sign that we have reached yet another top in the marketplace? And I don't know if there is or not, but it seems like a great deal of these people that still have huge amounts of cash, because he did not go away broke or anything. He would, of course, been much richer, but he had plenty of cash already. He'd been around for a long time. Didn't have his money and all of that. He had a lot of other stuff outside the company. But the question is, this is not the only guy. We've got 3 or 4 other people that are somewhat tainted. In fact, we talked, I think, less than a month ago about our friend, the governor from New Jersey, that ran his company bankrupt, trying to come back. A lot of these guys, I guess it's the siren call of the markets. Once it's in your blood, it's in your blood. But starting to see some of these folks come back. What else out here? Ooh. And what else do we have? Okay. That's what we got going on. Let's get to some other stuff here fairly quickly. Wanted to go through some of the earnings, and then we're going to go through some of the earnings after the bell. TWO. Take-Two Entertainment had some good news and earnings out today. Nice pop from about $24.50 yesterday to $28.39 is a high today. It has all the signs. One of the few ones out here that does have a nice bounce and lots of volume out here. A lot of people were expecting this one to fail and even go lower. A nice opposite surprise, most of the markets. You would probably suspect that this is going after its previous high of $30.80 that we saw not that long ago, back here on January 28th. That had 2.1 million shares. We got 12 million today. But you know, when you go back and look at this, this had a nice chart pattern. I don't think I would have been short this thing. It gapped up on 6.2 million shares. Back on April 30th, it tested it with 4 million shares. So not a short candidate, but a lot of people were on this one thinking it was going lower. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can post a message in the den if you would like to also. We'll be back in just a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk, charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're up 2 points on the S&P cash. That's not the important thing that happened. The important thing that happened was we had a little bit of insider trading going on in Europe. And as we get into that, what happened? We had a gentleman, and his name was Benoit Coyer. It's one of those two. I didn't take French in high school. I took German. So I'm going to miss that. Anyway, old Mr. Benoit basically last night was at a big soiree. And either he purposely did, or maybe he got drunk and just spouted it out. But basically he said because that everybody in France and everybody in Europe takes all of August off and nothing was going to happen and it was going to make the numbers look horrible, that they were going to like double buy in August, a lot of bonds back. And that quickly tanked the euro and spiked the dollar. We also saw the 10-year go to 2.3% today. And he said it in front of a bunch of traders, all pretty chummy, not any Americans around, so it was a big surprise. Apparently, they all got on their smartphones and started tweeting to their trading desks to make some big moves. So had a big move out of Europe, and no one knew what was going on here at the United States. This was some kind of soiree in which he was hanging out. He is one of the presidents of the ECB's Council on Buying These Bonds Back. There was supposed to be a document that was released an hour before his discussions to everybody, so that they all would have been notified at the same time. But you know what? Just an honest mistake. It just didn't happen. Huh. I wonder how that happens. Anyway, we had a phone call probably, I don't know, a week ago. And it was a week ago, 10 days ago. I never can remember. Time starts being extremely relative to me in my aged and advancing years here. But what I do know is that a guy called in and said, what's going on with the TLT? I said, well, the one thing you don't want to do is keep on trying to play the little moves in this thing. When you get a trend in these things, the trend continues for a while, and you want to hang on to it. There's probably nothing that trends as well as both bonds and mostly currency trades over time if you stand back. They can be a little, this one's probably in the currency a little bit more wild than anything else. But when we look at what happened out here is we may have had the biggest single movement, and can you call it insider trading? It's him, it's his buddies. Nobody was there to really, to notify anybody. He's saying it's the old college mistake. He was an insider on the deal. I think it's strange incredulity. Anyway, the U.S. Treasury and Janet Yellen kind of miffed, and it becomes problematic to see whether or not this was, maybe he was told to do it by some of the people in the EU. You never really know. What I do know is these guys never release anything. They know the value that double buying the bonds in August because everybody's out for vacation would bring to the market. So these guys are no dummies. They know that when they talk that it has ramifications. Could it be that dumb? I don't think so. He's been around a long time. I looked him up on Wikipedia and found out all about him today. But his name is Benoit, which is Beniot, and Coeure if you want to look it up. But just on the TLT, I don't think you want to be playing this on a short-term basis. You want to be playing the long-term trend. Now, did we have a little bounce off the move here this morning? I suspect we did. But to me, that was probably more intervention as we came back in. When we look at the dollar index, we're basically up $1.05. Up 1%, $95.27, would say that we're going to go back and test that 96.30 level on the dollar index on the cash continuous contract anyway. And if we break that again, Katie, bar the door. My guess is that we're going to have intervention from everywhere in the governments. The Treasury, the Fed, everybody that can do anything to keep that dollar down, because the stories we continue to hear are these big companies blaming it on the dollar. And we had another one of those this morning. We're going to talk about that when we come back.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with NADEX. NADEX, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, NADEX allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with NADEX in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. NADEX is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the NADEX banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom OBrien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom OBrien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're like me, you see the world's emerging nations as a very real opportunity, as these countries and their economies are developing right before our eyes. And you can rest assured that EverBank has spotted this opportunity too. In fact, they've just released the second running of their 5-year Market Safe Futures Economy CD. This is a CD that could really deliver, but you only have until June 11th to take advantage. Consider the facts. If the future economy's currencies beat the US dollar over the CD term, you'll get all of the upside at maturity. And should they lose, no worries. There's zero downside risk here, as you get back 100% of your deposited principal. Don't miss out. The June 11th funding deadline is quickly approaching. So hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN-CD for more information, including important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN-CD. EverBank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we come back, market extremely quiet for the equities. Of course, lots of fireworks. And one of the reasons why I don't think Mr. Benoit over there was just an accident, of course, is that the future contracts on a lot of these commodities expire today. You know, what are the odds? The old honest mistake. Well, anyway, we're looking at a TLT out here, and you got a nice move down here. It didn't have a lot of volume, and I think we're probably going to see a little bit of fight back against this. I think the long trend is intact, though. But of course, commodities. I think crude was off 3.5%. Gold was off 1.6. Silver 3.5%. All these, of course, a byproduct of discussions of trying to keep the euro lower. And this goes into the round robin circular, to try to devalue your dollar at the expense of other people's trade. In this case, euro, they want to keep the euro down. And any kind of pullback here by the United States isn't welcome at all. They are having a lot of problems, much less getting into Greece and that whole issue. But I don't know. Are they going to let Greece go this weekend? Or are they going to wait till 4th of July weekend My guess is that whenever the whole thing blows up in everybody's faces, it's going to be a 3-day weekend. And one of the things, they're probably going to try to do it after the close on Friday of this week or one of the big weekends this summer. They have it pretty much all scripted out. But what can you say? We got some other stocks that are moving rather interestingly on news. Skyworks Solutions, SWKS. The FBI has been very active in a case where a great many of the Chi-Com nationals that have been working with Skyworks Solutions to create RF filters for smartphones have been trying to run off with the Royal Crown jewels, as it were. And those jewels are, how do you make filters? Filters are very interesting, and filter design is interesting. Most people think, you can just make at least electronically, make a filter that is kind of all or nothing. That is, everything above a certain level is just like there's a concrete dam there. It just doesn't get through. The reality is making filters is very tough because they pretty much always have some kind of rounding factor. And that is, if you want everything below a certain frequency or above a certain frequency, basically there's going to be a rollover. And if you've ever heard anybody talk about dBs and everything else, but I'll tell you what electrical engineers call it. They call it the black arts, because it is something that you only get by trial and error. All the physics in the world does not seem to always act correctly in making filters. I spent, or at least the company I was with, spent a lot of time working with comb filter decoders, and doing that right is amazingly hard. People have spent 2, 3, 4 years of their life working on a very small part of making filters. And that's why it is so dangerous to let the Chi-Coms steal this. Not only were they trying to steal the data, they were going to try to patent it in China so that they could force Skyworks out. Anyway, nice little pop yesterday, kind of on the pre-side of the news on this. A little bit more of an extension today. Volume is not all that bad out here, but I think the idea is that since the Chinese got their hands caught in the cookie jar on this one, they arrested a professor from one of their schools there, and there are 4 other people that are working for Skyworks Solutions that are over in China that have been indicted, I think, at the same time. But espionage continues to be a big deal. I don't know what else you can say about that other than the big pop yesterday. It was kind of on the anticipation. I guess a lot of people in Wall Street already knew this was going to happen. But basically, the argument that Chinese are going to try to make now, that they patented it all and they didn't know anything about it, has come to light, makes it very tough for them to try to get away with the big lie. Before, they could have done that, which is, hey, we invented it, not you, and that's it. But now we know. But espionage, especially in high tech, continues to be a big deal. Probably 1 out of 10 they catch, and my guess is that they caught that today. So we'll look at it. We're off 1 0.3 on the S&P cash at 2120. Well, let's call it 2128. Not a whole lot of movement, but my guess is we're going to continue to see extremely tight moves in the equity markets. Of course, as we described before, a horrible winter, and I think everybody decided to take an extra week off and go to the Hamptons up in for the street, and part of that is leaving the B team. That B team has a ton of cash, and they have buy and sell buttons, and when the market starts moving up, they hit sell, and when the market starts moving down, they hit buy, and that's what they're told to do until the close of Friday, and everybody comes back on Tuesday. Actually, everybody comes back about Tuesday at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's when the big men of Wall Street, the decision makers, come back, and they start talking about what to do out here. 2.2 billion shares, so even though we're not moving much in the S&P, certainly having more and better volume. But again, this is kind of the end of options rollover. And my guess is that in another 30 minutes, we see volume go light as everybody's already got options rollover handled. And we go into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I suspect that we could see lows in the 1.5 billion shares range for Friday's movement. And probably the one downside thing that no one can do or work on is options. I mean, not options, but on commodities. And that's where we're seeing all the action today. I'll be with you in the next hour also. And in the second half of that hour, we've got a special guest, Andy Heck. I'm going to be asking him a lot of questions about how a lot of what is intersecting between commodities and anything from retail restaurants to the bird flu, and how maybe even interest rates and certainly the dollar are affecting it. But I think, when we look at a lot of this, especially like the GLD, this thing was pretty much pressing at that 1225, 1227 level for a long time over the last few days, and just didn't happen. You had a lot of volume going into it on the 13th. That volume faded the next day to just about 7 million shares. Couldn't break through, at least on the GLD, couldn't break through the April 6th high. And you basically had another push up on very light volume 2 days ago on Friday. Yesterday, a push higher again on very light volume, 5 million shares. And this continues to be the trading range of a great deal of these stocks. Down today, not a lot of volume, but that dollar putting the whammy on everything from crude to dollar and to gold and silver. And we'll talk more about that in the 3 o'clock hour with our friend Andy Heck. What else do we have going on out here? A lot of these recent IPOs with a very thinly traded shares available, like GoPro, are seeing a little bit of action on no volume. Looks to me like they're going to try to push this up to $54 by the close on Friday. Not something I'm going to be participating in, but you had a nice gap up. It had decent energy on April 29th, which was earnings. Today, though, 3.5 million shares compared to 30 million shares. Just not a lot more out here. But any of these stocks that have high short interest and have a low float, like GoPro, are open for the short squeeze. Another one in this vein is Shake Shack. Of course, earnings on this one really put the whammy on it. But again, there are so few shares available that they can push these things up at a whim. And this one had a huge trading range out here today. Not a bad buy at about 73 bucks, got to 78 up here today. But, more about stock manipulation than actual any kind of true trend or value. The question is what happens when these guys step away. Shake Shack, I don't know why anybody thought anything better of their earnings that when it came out, other than the fact that stock manipulators are probably going to keep this up for a while. One of the strangest stocks, because of the valuation, ends up being problematic. Anyway, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com or post a message in the den. Other stocks of interest out here. Did I have that? Anything else? Urban Outfitters is the disaster du jour today. And, of course, everybody was hoping for a big turnaround in the stock. Didn't get it. I don't know what else you can say other than this is probably headed back down to at least some fairly long-term lows. Back there, the November 18th low never was retested. My guess is this is going to work its way back in there to that November 18th low with, what is it, about 10 million shares? Is that right? Yeah. With about 10 million shares. You got a nice gap. This thing's going to probably act as support for a while between 30 and 31.50. That gap goes back to, what is that? The gap up goes back to the 11th of December of 2014 on 5 million shares. So not huge support, but a nice gap. And normally that's going to give you at least some level of support for a while. What else do we have out here? Ross Store, kind of on the back of trying to remember the other stock that did well. Can't remember right now. Oh, it's RTX or something. I'll think of it here in a second. Another closing store, TJ Maxx, excuse me. Ross Store, a little pop on the back of TJ Maxx. I'm trying to remember the symbol for TJ Maxx now. I can find it here. TJ Maxx is, isn't it? TJX, thanks. Okay. And if you haven't been in a TJ Maxx, basically they take last year's goods for clothing, men's, women's, and they sell it. The one behind me is, or close to me, is kind of creepy. It's like an older store, and I'm not exactly sure. Maybe it's the clientele that get attracted there. I like Steinmart much better. They have even the shirt I'm wearing. But if you like golf shirts and stuff, you can go in there and get them for a fraction of what they're selling for today. If you wait about 6 months, they tend to be highly discounted at Steinmart. Same kind of thing with TJ Maxx, is they've got stuff that's 6 months or a year old. And for guys, especially guys in Tampa, trends and fashions don't change that quickly. But anyway, we had a nice move out here in TJ Maxx, and some of these second round retailers, I don't know exactly the technical term they use for them, resellers maybe. They buy up all the stuff that doesn't sell from other people and offer it highly discounted levels. Anyway, this thing looks like it's headed back up to the top. We've already got 4.7 million shares for it today. But why especially the retailers for clothes and malls struggle, these companies that tend to buy discounted goods and sell them tend to be looking fairly good and strong, like TJ Maxx. They've got several stores, though, and I think one of the other stores had a lot to do with it. I can't remember the name. Maybe I'll look it up during the break. Anyway, that pretty much gets all the ones on news. We're going to start looking at some stocks moving, and I wanted to really start looking at some of these others and how they are moving. We talked about last week about the financials and Wells Fargo. Looks like this is making one more run up here at these highs. The December 29th high at $55.94 had 36 million shares. We're getting into that today. Doesn't look like we're going to carry through on 11 million shares. And, we're up here before with 26 million shares and now up here with 11 million shares. Some of these financials looking very interesting. But again, your chance of probably seeing the market drastically change are much better at the close on Friday or on the open next Tuesday. In the meantime, we will be right back. Or left back, if you want. Give us.
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to the Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy. A set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And, we've got some of these other financials up on fairly light volume. Voya Financial, it used to be ING, and they changed their name. I don't know why, but I didn't know their other name. I don't know this name. Anyway, Voya Financial, VOYA. Nice high on March 16th with 14 million shares, basically $45. We've gone through that yesterday with 2.1 million shares today, 1.4 million shares so far today. So getting awful close to the at least temporary highs that we're seeing in some of these stocks. Sony, of course, been on a big run. SNE, the symbol on this guy, another good test of a high out here on half the volume, at least half the volume so far. 3.7 million shares when we were into the April 22nd high. Now, this is an ADR, so there is a little problem with, of course, the exchange and the dollar rate, but not so big a move between the yen and the dollar today, so probably a little closer, but certainly not holding that high and seeing incredibly light volume in Sony out there. Those Asian markets continue to look incredibly toppy, but they can always throw some more money at the problem. Pinnacle Foods, one of these stocks out here, another one that's starting to break its previous high of April 10th with 1.8 million shares. Basically, you had 1.1 million shares on Friday, yesterday, 700,000 shares today, 300,000 shares as we continue to go higher. So not uncommon to see these stocks drift higher on incredibly light volume as we go into these weeks. New Residential Investment Corporation, talk about a stock making highs on light volume. Another one of these out here in the REIT business. April 29th, $17.46, 3.7 million shares. Yesterday, 1.6 million shares. We break through the high, 1.4 million shares. Just not a lot of energy in these. But again, if you find one of these stocks that's in the right market and that has a little bit of short interest, it's easy to just keep turning the heat up this week, just a little bit more each day, and that can be it. Another one breaking the highs out here today on light volume, Norwegian Cruise Line. It's pining for the fjords, I say. It's pining. It's gone and joined the choir invisible. It's an ex-parrot. Anyway, Norwegian Cruise Line, NCLH. And this one kind of set the high on March 20th at $54.78. Went above it April 10th with 1.3 million shares. We're back into this high today with about 1 million shares so far, although it looks like it's going to hold these highs. And unclear why you'd be pushing a cruise line like this going into the summer. These things tend to be rather cyclical. And, of course, after a tough winter, you could probably make a good case that people are already scheduling their cruises for next year. But that may be enough to hold it at its high. I don't know how and why it would be enough to push it higher out there. I haven't looked at the news, though. La Quinta Holdings, this is a very interesting recent IPO. It had a lot of problems as it became a IPO. I think they tried twice or 3 times on this, and it is problematic to see, these things going sideways. But something's going to happen in the stock. This pattern happens too many times. You get 5-7 days of something going sideways and a bunch of dojis like this. Start watching. My guess is we're probably going to find the true story on whether someone's accumulating or distributing this stock. And, of course, I'm going to be back for the next hour. We'll be in here at the bottom of the hour with Andy Heck. We're going to be talking a lot about commodities and how they're moving and gold. Kind of saved all that stuff for the bottom of the next hour. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you in the next hour.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. You're watching Tiger TV.